What's going on, guys? It's Houston Sports Talk back into the video today, and today we're going to be talking about a potential signing for the New England Patriots, as we're going to be talking about the New England Patriots potentially signing Super Bowl winning running back Leonard Fournette, as it was reported today that the New England Patriots have worked out Leonard Fournette and they're interested in potentially signing him. Leonard Fournette, who spent his last 3 seasons with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, had some great years with the Jacksonville Jaguars in 2017 and 2019. Spent 3 years there, then left for Tampa, or maybe he was waived or something. He had that amazing year in 2017 when the Jags were, made it all the way to the AFC Championship game, had over 1,000 yards, had over 1,000 yards in 2019 as well. Then he bounced back in Tampa Bay. 2020, he wasn't great in the regular season, but it was in the postseason where he was, it was his best in the Super Bowl. As in the Super Bowl with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, he had 16 carries, 90 rushing yards, and 1 rushing touchdown. He also had 4 receptions and 45 receiving yards in that game. So he ultimately had 135 total yards in the Super Bowl for the Buccaneers, and was solid for the Bucs throughout the 2020 season. But I'm going to go over some of his stats. This season with the Bucs in 2022, he played 16 games with 9 starts, 189 rushing attempts with 670 rushing yards with 3 rushing touchdowns. It was quite of a struggle for him this year. He also did have 83 targets with 73 receptions for 523 receiving yards and 3 receiving touchdowns. So his receiving numbers definitely went up this year, way up, almost near 100. 2021, he played 14 games with the 14 games and 13 starts with the Bucs in 2021, 812 rushing yards with 8 rushing touchdowns, and he also had 69 receiving yards for 454 receiving yards and 2 receiving touchdowns. Then 2020 did not play much in the regular season with the Bucs, but it was the postseason where he was huge. He had a total of 300 rushing yards, and I think Tampa played a total of 4 games in the in those playoffs. He had 300 rushing yards and I think a couple hundred receiving yards. He was big for them in the playoffs, was definitely their running back 1. But he only had 367 rushing yards in 13 games with 3 starts. Because back then, I think Tampa Bay, they still had Ronald Jones, and then they still had LaShawn McCoy, and then those guys late in the season started playing as much, and Leonard Fournette got an opportunity. But in Jacksonville, he was huge. 15 games, 15 starts in 2019. 1,152 rushing yards with 3 rushing touchdowns. He also had a total of 522 receiving yards that year with 0 receiving touchdowns. So a total of about almost 1,700 total yards in 2019. So just an amazing year in 2019, was great in 2017 as well, had a great 2020 postseason, was great in 2021 as well, had 812 rushing yards in only 14 games. And if he probably would have played if he was probably healthy the whole season in 2021, probably would have a third 1,000 rushing yard season. So he just had a little bit of an off year this year with Tampa Bay in this past season. But I think adding him in to New England would be a great fit. Yes, they have Ramondre Stevenson. He's a guy who I think with Damian Harris out of the picture for New England, as Harris signed with Buffalo, I think he's a guy who has the potential to just go off this upcoming season. But still, I really do think that Leonard Fournette would be a great fit for the New England Patriots to add in a second running back. Right now, their running back 2 is, I guess you would say, Pierce Strong Jr., their think, 4th-round pick in 2022, and he's a decent running back, but I just feel like if the Patriots want to be better this year, and we've heard reports about Bill Belichick possibly being on the hot seat, I think they need to add in another running back, and I think Leonard Fournette is the perfect fit next to Ramondre Stevenson and Pierce Strong Jr. They lost Damian Harris, and I think they could use another running back. I mean, it's okay. It's not like New England's offense has gotten worse. I would say maybe it's gotten better. Let's go over some of their additions and some of their losses. They lost Damian Harris, running back. They traded Jonnu Smith, tight end, who played tight end, who was their backup tight end and a really solid backup tight end. They lost wide receivers Jacoby Myers and Nelson Aguilar. And what have they added? And they also, as another loss, which is actually a good loss, they got rid of Matt Patricia, who was terrible. But let's go over their additions. First things first, they added in Bill O'Brien to be their offensive coordinator. He's an offensive genius. I know he wasn't the best, head coach with the Houston Texans, but he's still an offensive genius. And the only reason he got fired is because he was a terrible GM and was not suited to be a GM. He's returned to New England where he used to coach, and I love this fit for the New England Patriots. So he's their new offensive coordinator, and that's a huge upgrade. Now about players that they've brought in. They brought in Mike Gesicki, tight end for the Miami Dolphins, who had an amazing season with the Dolphins last year. You add him with Hunter Henry, who was their starter last year. You have a really amazing 1-2 punch with your tight ends with Gesicki and Hunter Henry. Then they added in Juju Smith-Schuster, who was great in for the playoffs for the Chiefs in this year's playoffs, was great in the Super Bowl, and had a great season with Kansas City throughout the regular season. He'll be the wide receiver 1 for Kansas City this year. For New England this year, and I think he's a great addition. So you added in Bill O'Brien, you added in Juju Smith-Schuster, you added in Mike Gesicki, and the only really guys you lost were Jonnu Smith, who wasn't that great this year, Damian Harris, who was solid, and then Nelson Aguilar and Jacoby Myers. I think if you look at it like this, Mac Jones is no longer having the offensive coordinator of Matt Patricia. He should be better this year with Bill O'Brien being his offensive coordinator. He is a true wide receiver 1 with Juju Smith-Schuster. He has someone who's a great receiver target, and as a tight end for Mike Gesicki, I feel like the Patriots' offense has improved. You add in Leonard Fournette with that new offense that is very improved, adding in Bill O'Brien, Juju, and Gesicki. I think it makes the Patriots' offense even better this upcoming season. I think really the only thing that really hurts this team is how the division has gotten better. The Jets have gotten better. The Dolphins have gotten better. And, the only team that haven't really improved a lot is the Buffalo Bills, and they were the best team in the division last year. So this division's gotten better. The league, the AFC has gotten better. So I just feel like that's the only thing that's really stopping this Patriots team this upcoming season. But this would be a great signing for the New England Patriots, and I think it should be the favorite landing spot for Leonard Fournette as of right now. And I do believe Leonard Fournette will sign with the New England Patriots, and it's something the Patriots should do as soon as possible. You have some more thoughts on the potential signing for the New England Patriots? That's it for the video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and peace out.